Remember to give the video a thumbs up, share your insights in the comments, and subscribe to keep up with our newest narratives. I never anticipated that a simple dinner gathering could alter the core of my cozy existence. At 57, I had found a comfortable cadence in life. Serene mornings spent in the garden, afternoons immersed in historical novels, and tranquil evenings alongside my husband, Mark. After more than 30 years of marriage, I thought the era of surprises had come to an end for us. How mistaken I was. It began in a seemingly harmless way. A Friday evening gathering organized by Mark's longtime associate, Jeff, along with his spouse, Allison. Jeff was a man in his late 40s, exuding charisma and wit, with captivating silver hair and a self-assured presence that commanded attention in any setting. We had been acquainted for several years, our exchanges primarily confined to corporate gatherings. Allison exuded charm as a host, radiating warmth and grace with ease. I was captivated by her ability to transform even the most basic meals into memorable occasions. Their residence exuded charm, a suburban colonial adorned with meticulously trimmed hedges and an inviting front porch. Upon entering, we were greeted by the gentle strains of jazz emanating from concealed speakers, perfectly complementing the enticing aroma of garlic roasting and fresh herbs wafting from the kitchen. The dining table was adorned with flickering candles, their warm glow creating gentle, dancing shadows that played across the walls, which were dressed in soothing shades of beige and pale blue. The warm atmosphere instantly made me feel comfortable. "Step inside, Melanie. So pleased you could join us," Allison remarked, her tone as calming as the jazz tunes enveloping us. She enveloped me in a warm embrace, her authentic kindness easing my anxiety. "Thank you, Allison," I responded, a wide smile on my face. The aroma in this space is delightful. As the four of us gathered around the dinner table, Jeff poured the wine, his rich voice leading us through amusing tales from his recent travels overseas. The dialogue unfolded effortlessly, with laughter arising naturally. Mark radiated positivity, clearly relishing the chance to relax and escape the pressures of his demanding career. As the dessert was presented, a divine chocolate mousse adorned with raspberries, Jeff's gaze met mine. "Melanie, I learned from Mark that you possess remarkable skills in gardening. I would appreciate some advice. My roses are not flourishing as I had hoped." I chuckled softly, feeling a warm sense of appreciation for his recognition. "I wouldn't describe it as talent, Jeff, just a matter of patience. I'd be glad to review it." "Excellent. Maybe we could consider it after dinner?" His gaze held for a moment, and a gentle heat rose to my cheeks. I dismissed the feeling, certain it was just a figment of my imagination. Following dessert, Jeff led me through a sliding door onto a generous patio illuminated by gentle moonlight. The evening breeze caressed the trees softly, intertwining with the delicate scent of jasmine flowers blooming in Allison's garden. Mark and Allison stayed indoors, fully absorbed in their discussion about potential vacation spots. Jeff guided me to a line of roses, their beauty dimmed by the soft glow of outdoor lights above. He crouched low, studying the leaves intently, and gestured for me to come closer. "Notice how the edges are becoming yellow?" Jeff inquired, his voice now gentler, infused with a sense of authentic curiosity. I inched nearer, suddenly conscious of how close we were. One heartbeat raced, its cause a mystery. "It seems they could benefit from additional nitrogen," I suggested, making an effort to maintain a calm tone. Jeff faced me, his demeanor a blend of seriousness and warmth. "Melanie, I find myself admiring the connection you and Mark share. After 2 decades of marriage, it feels as though Allison and I have grown distant from one another." His unexpected candor took me by surprise. "Every marriage experiences its share of highs and lows, Jeff. It's perfectly fine." He nodded with a contemplative air. "Perhaps it is. However, recently, I sense that there is an absence of something important." The fragility in his gaze struck a profound chord. Just as I was about to reply, his hand grazed softly against mine. The fleeting, pure touch ignited a spark within me, flooding my senses with a blend of remorse and unforeseen thrill that surged through my body. Apologies escaped Jeff's lips as he swiftly withdrew, a true sense of embarrassment coloring his tone. I never intended to overstep my bounds. My heart wavered, feelings in a tumultuous dance. My first impulse was to withdraw, yet a more profound urge drove me to extend compassion instead. "It's perfectly fine," I murmured softly, catching myself off guard. "You're simply expressing the truth." Jeff raised his gaze, a warmth of appreciation illuminating his striking visage. We experienced a serene pause, recognizing the underlying tension softly yet undeniably. I experienced a profound sense of recognition that had eluded me for years, even if I couldn't fully grasp it at the time. Stepping back indoors had an almost dreamlike quality. Mark's well-known smile offered comfort, yet it bore an unfamiliar heaviness that I couldn't quite identify. I caught sight of Jeff on the other side of the room, observing how he seemed to withdraw into his own thoughts, keeping a courteous distance. The evening wrapped up on a pleasant note, yet my thoughts lingered, entwined in the intricate web of the events that had just unfolded. Later that night, while Mark slept soundly next to me, I found myself gazing at the ceiling, my heart filled with unanswered questions. Was my response merely a reaction to unexpected admiration, or had Jeff stirred something long hidden within me? Could a fleeting instance of connection genuinely disturb the peace I had treasured for years? I found myself grappling with a mix of unease and intrigue as our once enjoyable and predictable existence suddenly seemed lacking. Amidst the chaos, I felt a stirring within, akin to a tender blossom unfurling to greet the morning sun, delicate yet unmistakably vibrant. Unbeknownst to me at the time, this unforeseen evening marked the inception of a journey into self-discovery, a route lit by delicate moments, lingering gazes, and the silent bond that Jeff and I had begun to forge. What lay ahead would test every limit we had meticulously established, compelling us both to face realities we had long evaded. And you won't imagine what unfolded next. In the days that followed that unforgettable dinner, my life seemed to remain unchanged on the surface. Yet beneath the comforting rhythms of my days, morning strolls through the garden, afternoons spent with tea and a good book, and evenings lost in classic films with Mark, a subtle disquiet began to grow within me. I often find myself revisiting that moment on the patio, where Jeff's hand lightly grazed mine, accompanied by his surprising confession. Every memory awakened feelings I had almost lost touch with. Years had passed since I experienced such a profound sense of being truly seen or desired, even if just for a fleeting moment. Yet, beneath the surge of these emotions lay a persistent sense of guilt. Mark was my husband, my eternal companion, and I had cherished him deeply. Yet something about Jeff's vulnerability, his openness, had stirred a long-forgotten corner of my heart. On a bright afternoon, I found myself deep in contemplation next to my beloved lilacs, carefully trimming away the faded blooms. The garden typically served as my refuge, a place of serene quietude and clarity, yet today my thoughts remained restless. "Melanie, there's someone here to see you." Mark's voice called out from the back porch. As I turned, a rush of emotion surged within me. Jeff lingered beside Mark, his attire relaxed in a blue button-down shirt and jeans, his demeanor friendly yet measured. My heart raced instantly, yet I compelled myself to remain composed, offering him a steady smile. "Apologies for the unexpected visit," Jeff said softly, moving closer with care. "I would love to discuss those roses in greater detail. However, if you find yourself occupied, it's perfectly all right." I responded swiftly, feeling my voice reveal a trace of enthusiasm. Mark beamed, blissfully oblivious to the tempest brewing silently between Jeff and me. With a chuckle, Mark turned back toward the house, leaving the gardening experts to their work. Jeff and I stood in stillness, the air around us heavy with the weight of unexpressed thoughts. Birds sang joyfully around us, unaware of the underlying tension simmering just beneath our seemingly serene exterior. At last, Jeff cleared his throat, shattering the quiet tension between us. "Melanie, I wanted to express my apologies once more for what happened the other night." He started softly, with genuine emotion woven into each phrase. "I overstepped, and the weight of that decision has lingered heavily on my conscience." I examined his face intently, observing the authentic regret reflected in his blue eyes. A peculiar sensation gripped my chest, a blend of relief and disappointment intertwining within me. No need for an apology. I comforted him gently. There was a complete lack of events. He nodded slowly, moving in closer, his voice just a soft murmur. Yet, an event did unfold. We both sensed it. My breath hitched as Jeff's eyes locked intensely onto mine. His voice was gentle yet sincere, with every word thoughtfully selected. "I understand it's not right, Melanie," he admitted softly, "and I've attempted to push it aside, but you occupy my thoughts incessantly. It's been ages since I've experienced such a profound connection." A surge of warmth enveloped me, only to be quickly overtaken by a tide of bewilderment. "Jeff, I am in a committed relationship, joyfully united in marriage." "Indeed," Jeff replied softly. "And the final thing I desire is to disturb your existence. Yet, I felt it was important for you to understand that you stirred something deep within me. It was a possibility I had overlooked." For a fleeting instant, a profound silence enveloped us, interrupted solely by the gentle whisper of the leaves above. My heart pounded fiercely in my chest, caught in a struggle between my allegiance to Mark and the undeniable attraction to Jeff's sincerity. I turned my gaze aside, feelings waging a tumultuous war inside me. "Your honesty means a lot to me," I finally whispered. "Your words resonated with me profoundly. However, we are unable to take action on this. It lacks fairness for all involved." Jeff let out a breath, visibly grappling with his own inner turmoil. He extended his hand with care, enveloping mine softly in his grasp. It was a comforting warmth, and my fingers naturally curled tighter around his. He assured me softly that he respected my decision. "What I truly desire is your companionship. If that is all we can possess, it suffices." I nodded slowly, yet the fervor in his gaze implied a different story. "Friendship," I murmured, gently letting go of his hand. "Nothing else." The ensuing weeks unfolded with a subtle unrest. Jeff and I shared brief messages regarding gardening advice or light conversations about the weather, ensuring we kept our boundaries intact. Every exchange, no matter how fleeting, quietly deepened our connection. I discovered that I was eagerly awaiting his messages, a mix of excitement and fear coursing through me. One evening, Mark casually noted that Jeff and Allison would be attending a company-sponsored gala event downtown with us. My heart raced at the thought of encountering Jeff once more, this time amidst a bustling crowd where our unspoken tension could become challenging to hide. As night fell, the grand ballroom came to life with gentle melodies, twinkling lights, and elegantly attired couples gliding through the space with poise. Mark led me inside, his hand softly placed on my lower back, offering a sense of comfort while remaining oblivious to the chaos brewing inside me. I noticed Jeff right away from across the room, our eyes locked, sparking a fire deep in my chest. During dinner, the dialogue unfolded seamlessly among the four of us. Yet beneath the veneer of cheerful laughter and courteous conversations, Jeff and I exchanged fleeting, secretive glances. Every glance infused with unspoken desire, every gentle smile holding profound significance. Following dinner, the guests gracefully made their way to the dance floor. Mark, ever the embodiment of chivalry, offered his hand to Allison for a delightful dance. With a polite chuckle, they mingled with other couples under the twinkling lights, leaving Jeff and me in solitude. We paused for a moment as Jeff extended his hand, his voice soft and welcoming. "Could I?" With a flutter of anticipation, I gently placed my hand in his, letting him lead me onto the dance floor. My heart raced as we started to sway softly, the surroundings fading away until it was just Jeff and me in our own little world. "You look stunning this evening," he murmured, his tone rich with warmth and authenticity. A warmth spread across my cheeks, and an unfamiliar tightness gripped my throat, stirring unexpected feelings within me. "Jeff," I began gently, feeling the treacherous road ahead of us. "We decided to stay friends." He leaned back just a bit, gazing intently into my eyes, his face a blend of softness and resolve. "The bond we share only enhances my appreciation for your incredible qualities, and it certainly doesn't diminish the depth of my care for you." We pressed on at a leisurely pace, our intimacy a blend of solace and agony. My thoughts shouted for restraint, yet every fiber of my being beckoned me nearer to this man who grasped the depths of my concealed essence. Before I knew it, the melody had come to a close. We lingered, our eyes locked, quietly recognizing the fragile line we had just traversed. "I shouldn't feel this way," I murmured with a tremor in my voice. Still, I find myself unable to resist. Jeff caressed my cheek softly, his fingertips igniting a cascade of shivers along my spine. "I can't either, but we will honor whatever choice you make, I assure you." I withdrew, burdened by a deep yearning and doubt, quietly appreciative of his regard while still tormented by the fervor we shared. Rejoining Mark, I donned a courteous facade, smiling while quietly contemplating how much longer I could suppress the truth unfurling inside me. Unbeknownst to me, the occurrences of this night would propel our fragile connection into a more formidable trial, an unforeseen revelation that would irrevocably alter the course of our lives. What unfolded next will leave you utterly astonished. Weeks passed, each one deepening the quiet ache and uncertainty within my heart. I made every effort to stifle my emotions, to hide them under layers of gardening tasks, early strolls, and the familiar rhythm of dinners with Mark. Yet Jeff's words resonated gently within me, awakening aspects of myself I hadn't recognized in years. On a rainy afternoon, while I sifted through old photographs in our snug sitting room, the familiar chime of my phone caught me off guard. My heart raced, recognizing instinctively who it was. Jeff's message was concise but impactful. "Melanie, may we have a conversation? I assure you, this is significant." My breath caught in my throat, a swirl of nervousness and excitement coursing through me. After a brief pause, I responded, "Absolutely. Where is it?" He proposed we gather at a serene coffee shop on the outskirts of town, a balanced setting where we could converse in private yet remain in a public space that honored our commitments. I consented, my heart racing with doubt, my conscience uneasy yet eager to grasp the depth of his urgency. The cafe exuded warmth and charm, enveloped in the rich aroma of freshly brewed coffee and the gentle murmur of hushed dialogues. Jeff sat at a hidden table in the corner, his hands tightly clasped, his eyes reflecting an intensity one had never encountered before. "I appreciate you coming," he said softly, motioning for me to take a seat. He appeared taut yet profoundly determined, his demeanor solemn. "What's going on, Jeff?" I inquired gently, my unease barely concealed. "Did something occur?" He let out a deep sigh, his fingers combing through his silver hair, his eyes reflecting a profound sorrow. "Allison is aware." A sudden jolt gripped my stomach, and my heart raced with a surge of panic. "Is aware? What is it about?" "We?" Jeff gave a slow nod. "She felt an unusual presence at the gala. Yesterday, she confronted me. I was unable to deceive you, Melanie." I revealed all my thoughts to her. My emotions are exchanges, despite the fact that nothing has truly transpired. A frigid dread seized my heart, anxiety swelling within me. "Jeff, I find myself at a loss for words." "You don't need to say a word," he comforted softly, his eyes filled with a silent plea. Allison and I reached a significant consensus. "I wanted to have an honest conversation with you to clarify the next steps." "What follows now?" I spoke softly, a sudden dread creeping in at the thought of losing the tranquil existence I had so diligently safeguarded. Jeff grasped my hand softly, calming my quivering fingers. His touch offered solace, even as it deepened my inner chaos. I assured Allison that I would honor any decision you choose. "Melanie, should you decide to leave, I assure you I'll understand. However, if you experience even a fraction of what I feel, then we must confront it with sincerity." His honesty was evident, and his openness was profoundly touching. Emotion welled up within me as I fought to express myself. "Jeff, you've unearthed emotions I believed were long forgotten. However, Mark has been my entire world for more than 3 decades." He held my hand softly, the intensity shining in his gaze. "I understand, and I would never request you to compromise that. Can you truly refute the bond we discovered? Shouldn't it be recognized at the very least?" My heart throbbed, torn intensely between devotion and desire. Deep down, I understood that Jeff had a point. The deep connection we had established, subtly yet profoundly, couldn't just disappear. We were obligated to be honest with ourselves and our partners. After a lengthy silence, I articulated my thoughts with caution, my voice trembling with sincerity. I cannot ignore the emotions that stir within me. You've brought to light aspects of my being that had slipped from my memory. However, the thought of causing Mark pain fills me with fear. I wish to keep him close, while also being mindful of Allison's feelings. Jeff nodded, a profound comprehension reflected in his expression. I share that sentiment. However, I am convinced that concealing the truth ultimately causes greater pain. Perhaps embracing honesty will guide us all in determining our next steps. We lingered in contemplative quiet, taking in the gravity of his statements. The rain gently tapped on the cafe windows, echoing our serene contemplation. I finally whispered that I needed to talk with Mark, a mix of relief and terror washing over me with the admission. He is entitled to the truth. Jeff held my hand with a comforting grip, letting it go softly. No matter what unfolds, Melanie, I will stand by your side, whether as a companion or something deeper. I won't push you, but remember that you're not by yourself in this journey. We separated with a silent agreement, feelings intertwined yet unmistakable. As I navigated the somber, drizzly streets on my way home, I found myself mentally preparing for the conversation that filled me with trepidation, yet was undeniably essential. Mark was entitled to the truth, regardless of the pain it might bring. That evening, following dinner, as we sat in serene companionship in the living room, I gathered my courage to break the silence. My heart raced wildly, a surge of anxiety swelling inside me. Mark, I need to speak with you. I started softly, my voice revealing my unease. He gently set down his newspaper, regarding me with a hint of worry in his eyes. Is everything okay, Melanie? I inhaled deeply, my heart heavy as I gazed into his familiar, reassuring eyes. Recently, an unexpected event unfolded. There was no physical connection, yet emotionally, I found myself captivated by another person. His expression transformed swiftly from bewilderment to subdued pain. His voice carried a softness, though it was tinged with tension. Jeff. Taken aback by his insight, I nodded slowly, a sense of guilt constricting my heart. Indeed. Mark let out a long breath, his gaze far away but steady. At the gala, I observed something intriguing. The way he gazed at you, and the way you returned his gaze. I never intended for this to unfold. I implored gently, tears streaming down my face. You have been my whole existence, Mark. I cherish you deeply. Yet, this sensation has stirred something deep within me. It was something profound, and I needed to be truthful. He observed me with a contemplative gaze, a subtle sorrow reflected in his eyes. After a brief pause, he extended his hand towards mine softly, catching me off guard. Your honesty is truly valued, Melanie. You had the chance to keep this from me, yet you chose not to. That is significant. His reply caught me off guard, amplifying the remorse I experienced. Mark, I deeply apologize. He shook his head, his voice low but resolute. There's no need to say sorry for embracing your humanity. 3 decades is quite an extensive period. Affection evolves, individuals develop. I feel pain, indeed. However, I comprehend. Honesty is something you truly deserve as well. My heart shattered softly, engulfed by his elegance and kindness. I'm feeling a bit lost at the moment. I find myself adrift. Mark clasped my hand softly, exhaling with a sense of weight. Allow yourself a moment. Discover what your heart genuinely desires. In that moment, I understood the profound depth of our connection, rooted in Mark's steadfast respect for me as an individual. We sat in silence, the soft ticking of the clock serving as a reminder of the fleeting, fragile, and precious nature of our lives. No matter what choice lay ahead, I understood that Mark's kindness had transformed everything, unlocking opportunities one had never dreamed could exist. As the tranquil evening slipped into the gentle embrace of night, I realized that the most challenging decisions lay before me. The journey may be fraught with unpredictability, yet transparency has illuminated the way, guiding one toward genuine self-exploration and development. Yet nothing could have equipped me for what followed, a last revelation that would irrevocably change the course of all our lives. In the weeks after that candid, emotionally charged discussion with Mark, life assumed an almost dreamlike essence. Every day seemed delicate, hanging in the balance between the solace of what once was and the unpredictability of what lies ahead. Mark and I engaged in a heartfelt conversation, sharing our emotions, anxieties, and aspirations like we hadn't done in a long time. In an unexpected twist, our candidness brought us nearer, paradoxically strengthening our connection despite the ambiguity of what lay ahead. Jeff and Allison embarked on a journey toward understanding, opting for counseling to delve into their intricate feelings. Jeff and I decided to keep our distance during this sensitive time, allowing ourselves the freedom to truly contemplate without any pressure or expectations. On a bright afternoon, as I nurtured my garden, the sanctuary that consistently provided me with clarity, Mark silently came near, carrying 2 cups of tea. He settled next to me, softly offering the steaming mug. "Melanie." He started with caution, his voice calm and soothing. A great deal of contemplation has occupied my mind lately. I examined his features, perceiving a blend of resilience and fragility in his expression. "Same here." Mark smiled gently, his comforting presence soothing my nerves. I came to an important realization. Our union is founded on love, intertwined with friendship, respect, and honesty. Perhaps, after all this time, we should create space for one another to seek joy, even if it requires welcoming transformation. Tears welled up in my eyes at his vulnerability. "What do you mean, Mark?" He grasped my hand gently, his expression radiating genuine emotion. "I'm expressing my love by allowing you the freedom to discover what your heart genuinely seeks, even if it involves giving you the room to explore your bond with Jeff. No matter the circumstances, you are worthy of joy." We both share that sentiment. As I sit in my garden, enveloped by the vibrant flowers that sway softly in the warm breeze, I grasp the essence of our journey with newfound clarity. Life, akin to my garden, demands bravery, perseverance, and a willingness to embrace transformation. Connections go beyond mere habits or obligations. They are molded by genuine understanding, empathy, and consideration. At times, what initially appears unattainable guides us to precisely where we are destined to go. I cast a fleeting look at the house where Mark engages in easy conversation with Jeff and Allison, their laughter floating gently in my direction.